Hello,
All right,
everybody.
we're going. We're live,
Welcome
and
back to my yearly YouTube video. I'm hoping to
yeah,
post
we're
more.
by yearly now, right? Because
Yeah,
this is the playoffs. Yeah. We're gonna be as Ryan mentioned briefly. We're gonna be doing our playoff predictions for this year. The day before the playoffs began on Saturday, we got together, and yeah, we're gonna work on this.
did we do this last year? I don't
Yeah, we
remember.
did. We did it, but only when I made it on my channel. We
Oh
were
yeah.
doing it. We did
Oh
it
yeah, I remember
virtually.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I remember I picked Bengals, 49ers, and it was Eagles, Chiefs. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, and also this is one of my first videos on the new iMac people for people on the Yodo's channel. You got all this new stuff here. So still like figuring out the kinks and everything, but hopefully I look good, hopefully I sound good and everything. So yeah, we're gonna try it. So the first game we have is Texans versus Browns.
I'm gonna pull up the injury report really quick. Actually, I'll go with the standings first. Browns were 11
Yeah,
and
we have
6,
this.
and then the
That's the
Texans.
thing. The Texans have like been they only recently kind of came back. I think
They've been
I
on a
will say that
two-game winning
they did
streak.
beat the Texans already like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, did they? Yeah.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah, they did. And I think as of late, I know the Browns have been a little bit wonky like earlier in the year, but I do think as of late they've been a little bit more consistent than the Texans have been. The Texans were kind of fighting uphill for a long time, and it's the Texans are not like the bad team by any means,
I'm gonna look at the
but
injury
they
report.
have been kind of fighting a lot.
So for the injury report, Will Anderson, the defensive end rookie, great defensive player for the Texans. He's questionable with an ankle. I'm just gonna go over the notable ones. Malik Collins questionable with a hip. Sheldon Rankins D tackle questionable. Robert Woods is questionable with a hip. The Texans don't really have that many injuries, and I'm sure Will Anderson will play even because it's the playoffs. Amari Cooper for the Browns. He did not participate because of rest. Same with Joel Bitonio, if that's his name. I don't really know how to pronounce it. Dustin Hopkins, the kicker's out. I feel like he's been out for a few weeks. I think that everyone else should play. I think all like Cooper and they're gonna play because they're just resting them. I know that Cooper had an injury though, and yeah. So who do you think is gonna win?
With this one, I think it'll probably be the Browns. Just because the Texans, again, CJ Stroud is promising and everything, but I just don't think that they've, excuse me, I just don't think that they've, especially because, again, as I said before, the Browns beat them by 2 touchdowns and everything before, when they were at home, the Texans. So I don't know. I think the Texans, they've had a good season, far above what anybody was expecting, but I don't think that they're going to do it this year. I think it will be the Browns.
I think that this is a really interesting matchup because it's a team that I know that some people gave the Browns a shot. People didn't think they'd be this good. And then the Texans, everyone wrote them off. Most people had them going like 4-13. So for them to be in this position, it's pretty amazing. And I'm actually going to go with the Texans for the upset because I feel like the way the Texans and DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud have played all year is just like defying all odds. And I think that'll continue for at least one game of the playoffs. That's just what I think, though.
Okay,
That's what I'm going
Texans
with.
for you?
Yeah, I'm going with the Texans.
Okay, great. All right. Next game, Chiefs versus Dolphins. So we're
Both
gonna
teams
pull-
were 11 and 6, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna pull the Chiefs here, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't think this is gonna be a clean game here.
It's gonna be a terrible, not terrible. It's gonna be a good game, but it's definitely not gonna be a clean game for either team.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Chiefs, as of late, they've been having a hard time winning.
They've won
honestly.
2 straight, but those have not been decisive victories. One was the starters rested, and they played. Who'd they play?
The Bengals.
The Bengals, and
Which-
that was a close game
To be
too.
fair, that was a big game, but then you're losing to the Raiders, bro. I just don't know. I just don't know. But the Dolphins as well. They aren't much better either when it comes to consistency.
They had the AFC East 2 weeks ago, basically in their hands completely.
Yeah,
They had it, and then they
you
dropped
get
it.
blown by the Ravens 56-19, and then
Then they just
can change pretty fast.
don't do it. Tua threw a
Yeah.
few interceptions in that game, one that sealed it. Mahomes definitely hasn't played his best football this year.
Yeah.
But, and then let's go look at the injuries real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Nick Bolton, full participation for the Chiefs. I think he had a pretty good season. Isaiah Pacheco, full participation. Rashee Rice, a young receiver, full participation. Justin Ross, questionable, will probably play. Donovan Smith, limited participation. L'Jarius Sneed, limited. Kadarius Toney, questionable. Marquez, full. I don't think there's going to be any major injuries that'll affect how the Chiefs play this game. But the Dolphins, on the other hand,
the Dolphins do have quite a few people. They got Xavier Howard is out
with his foot.
Jerome Baker is out. Bradley Chubb is out, and then Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle, Devon Holland, and Deshaun Elliott were pretty important. They're questionable still.
Now,
1 day before. This is tomorrow.
I think that all of the offense. I'm pretty sure all of the offensive pieces will be playing. They both sat out last week, and I don't think they're serious injuries, so they should play. So
yeah,
that's what I think.
The defense, though, right?
Yeah,
the
they have.
Defense is like the main problem.
Chubb has been out. He was out for the season. Like I think he.
Yeah, that
17
was
or 18.
And then Xavier Howard just went out. A couple days, was listed as out yesterday.
So this is kind of going to be a game of teams that started off the season so promising, but just kind of fell and slipped. The Dolphins
Chiefs,
were actually looking really good
as
until.
Much as they've had some problems this year, definitely not one of their better years in the league. They've been here many times. They know they've had experience. So I think I'm gonna have to give it to them this year.
I just think that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I think
It's
playoff football is different than regular season football, and there's just different pacing. And the Dolphins, they played a playoff game last year, narrowly lost to the Bills' backup quarterback. But as much as I don't hold faith in the Chiefs with how they played, I almost hold less in the Dolphins because of how they've just blown the games.
Yeah.
They find ways, the punt return for the Bills, or was it kick? I don't know. They just find ways to lose, I feel like, in big games. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Two questionable teams, but I think, Chiefs have been here more times. They'll come across. All right.
I think they're also going to be way...
Steelers.
I think the Chiefs are going to be way better than they've been in the regular season, just because it's the playoffs and, it's Mahomes.
Fair enough.
But
So
still, I'm going with the Chiefs.
Lights, Now, this one, I think, is pretty obvious. This next one, Bills-Steelers.
Steelers
do not deserve to be here. This is my opinion only.
They won 3 straight. I don't really think that
we're gonna pull up all the dumb wins they've had.
Yeah, pull up the last 3 games. I want to see what they were.
Standings. Where are the Pittsburgh Steelers? Here we are. They look at this. They lost to the Cardinals, who had 2 losses in that. They had 2 wins on the season going into that game. They lost.
What about that game
the
they got?
The very next game they played against the Patriots.
They got bitched around.
Completely. They also lost, and they also only had 2 wins going into it. They actually screwed their tank as well. And then they also lost to the Colts the next week. The Colts are a little better, but still.
Colts were almost in the playoffs,
and then they had
but
to
still.
go into overdrive to beat the Bengals, Seahawks, Ravens just to stay in it. And because some of our teams, namely Jacksonville, lost, they were able to get in. So I don't really.
You need to give, even though we can agree
look,
that
the Bills have had problems too, but not as much as the Steelers. We will go and check the Bills though, because they are not. They're not exempt from criticism.
We can agree we would have rather seen the Jaguars, Colts, or Bengals in the playoffs than the Steelers. Any one of those teams.
The Bills also lost to the Patriots. They were also one of the few wins the Patriots.
Yeah, but I don't think your playoff thing doesn't have streak, and they have a 5-game win streak.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So yeah,
fair enough.
They're hot.
The Bills have gotten hotter as of late, so. I think it's safe to say that I think we know who it is, at least for me.
I don't even need
Bills.
Gabe Davis is out, Diggs is resting. I still don't think that
Steelers are not going to win
There's
there.
well, TJ Watt is out too.
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
big.
exactly. Yeah, he went out last week. Like,
Can't really find any reason to go with the Steelers. I have to give credit to Mike Tomlin, though, another winning season.
Yeah,
Not even sure how he does it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, all odds stacked against it.
Really wish that
he's still 10 and
he had a star team, like kind of like the 49ers that he could coach. Could be one of the most dominant teams of all time.
The Steelers are never going to let him go, though. Like,
No.
That's the thing.
But then again, I think they said that about Bill Belichick, so who knows? We'll see.
Steelers, though, bro. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Next conference over to the right here, NFC. Now, this is a fun one for me to talk about, in my opinion. This is the Buccaneers versus the Eagles.
Both teams, shit. They're both bad.
Look, this would have been a no-brainer if somehow it was earlier in the season, but like the Eagles have just fallen off in the past couple of weeks. Let's have a look at their record here.
11
and also
and
their
6.
injuries as well. Let's have a look at that.
I'm gonna take a look at the injuries real quick while you look at the record.
Yeah. So they're doing pretty well, as you can see here. Only one loss to the Jets, a little bit weird, but nothing crazy. And then boom, a blow to the 49ers, a blow to the Cowboys, a close loss to the Seahawks. They got a little win against the Giants, which is great, and then they lost to the Cardinals when they needed it the most. And then in the final week, when the Cowboys already had the driver's seat at this point, they lost to the Giants by 17. So, like, not a lot of momentum. And yes, the Buccaneers are not that great either. They have led what has been known to be called the tank division of this year. Their 9-8 record is not exactly division winner, quality normally, but this year it has been a bit different.
I always like these 4-5 seed matchups because it's the worst division team versus the best second in the division.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but yeah, look at the Buccaneers though. Like, they're just like, again, just like the rest of the division, just like kind of right in the middle. Like, here, let's look at their division here. New Orleans almost caught up with them, but they won via tiebreaker. Atlanta was also right with them too. Just like kind of sitting right in the middle, very mediocre division, and like no real great team in it, frankly. So.
There's something I want to look out for right here. I just noticed this.
Yeah, what's up?
Chris Godwin did not participate. Their receiver, really good. And what's even more concerning to me, Baker Mayfield did not participate with his ankle, and this is today's practice. I'm just gonna look it up real quick. Will Baker Mayfield play? Because if he doesn't play, I think that the Eagles could somehow pull some BS and win.
I will say though, like Buccaneers are one of the only teams that doesn't have a list full of injuries. There's only a couple, like for the whole year on them. So that's something they got going for them, because I don't think the Eagles are doing great. Let's have a look at the Eagles here. Injuries. Yeah, we got quite a few. A.J. Brown, questionable. Reed Blankenship, questionable. Who else here? I think Justin Effin. Well, actually, no, it's not so bad. Could be worse, too. But I will say, definitely want to have A.J. Brown for the game. That would be nice.
I don't think he's in the play. He looked pretty injured.
Okay.
I can't find anything, so I'm just going to assume he's starting, because there's nothing saying he's not. But that could change. So this is just, if Baker plays, this is what we're expecting.
Okay, yeah. So,
Devonta Smith, Swift.
I'm back on the bracket
Smith,
now, right? I'm going to give my
Swift.
opinion, okay?
Yeah.
There's always one out in a year where I don't think there's going to be a lot of upsets, really. I think I'm going to give my one upset of the year to the Buccaneers here. I think I'm going to do it. Because I think if there's any team to be upset this year, it's going to be the Eagles.
I'm not sure, if this is really an upside. I've seen lots of people picking the Buccaneers just because of how terrible the Eagles have played.
Well, yeah,
now
that's even more an insult on the Eagles there.
Thing holding them back is the Buccaneers are not a team like the Rams or the Packers where they have a full head of momentum. The Bucs beat the Panthers 9-0, and that's just not a winning. This is the worst team in the league. Period. I mean, they shut them out on defense, but their offense was terrible. I don't even think they scored a touchdown.
I will admit, that game was worrying, but my hope is that... No, actually, no, they weren't resting anything because they were playing for the
they were.
No.
Yeah.
So, a little bit worrying of a game there, but even then, at least they haven't been, in free fall like the Eagles have recently, you know? I don't know. I really do want to give, some upset, you know? I don't want to just... give the expected. I do think there's usually something that surprises us every year. I think this will be it.
This is tough. I'm gonna go with the Bucs too. It's tough.
Okay, yeah, no.
This is really tight.
It's
not an easy decision.
It's not an easy decision. No, yeah.
This game could go either way. I'm going with the Bucs. This is
the Monday game too, by the way.
Yeah.
This is 15. Okay, next one. Lions versus Rams. This one's also really fun. Matthew Stafford is going to be going back to face his former team in the playoffs. Pretty crazy. Now, I don't know a lot about the Rams. I will admit that.
A big thing. It says Sam Laporta is questionable. I don't think he's playing. That's the Lions' star rookie tight end. Not great. They don't like John Kaminsky, questionable illness. Taylor Decker, they don't have any big injuries, I don't think. James Houston, fourth linebacker, out with ankle. Not that many game-breaking injuries, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing.
Same with the
crazy about
Eagles.
the Rams here, right?
Same with the Rams. Sorry,
Like,
not really bad injuries. I'm talking about injuries. There's
Oh,
Rams. Rams and Lions don't really have many injuries.
yeah, but I don't know. Well, the Rams definitely picked up themselves recently. A lot. I don't know. Their wins are not very impressive. Like they played they played the Seahawks, the Cardinals in like the back to back, and then the Commanders, the Saints, and the Giants back to back. They played a 49ers team that was already had already clinched the first seed. Like, I don't know. Not a lot from the Rams here. And like, I don't know. Nothing. I don't know. They really. They've kind of just skated by me, the Rams this year, honestly. But again, it's mainly because the Lions are also in my favorite team's division, you know. But I have heard a lot more about the Lions and how they've been doing. And
The Lions have lost a few games though to some good teams.
yeah, well, they did lose to the Bears. That was a bit bad.
They lost to the Packers, but the Packers have gotten way better.
The Packers are
Packers are a
a bad
playoff
team.
team.
We'll give it to them later, though, right? But
Packers fans, so
but
it's
yeah,
hard not
no,
to talk
and
about.
they did take care of business against us twice in a row too. So you know, and yeah, I think it'll probably be Lions. You said that injuries aren't really bad for your team.
Yeah.
Okay, probably Lions. Again, it's not. I tried to look at the Rams a bit, but I don't know. Nothing
Rams have been
out.
hot.
They're not. Jumping out
You don't have the win streaks, right? They won 4 in a row. They were 6 and 7.
Like what Commanders, the Giants, a resting 49ers team. The Saints aren't that crazy either. Like I don't know. I just don't see much with them.
Team
But
has a ton of talent.
Opinion,
I just
right?
yeah.
I chose the Lions already.
I think I like this matchup for the Rams, not only because the Lions have not won a playoff game in, I don't even. I wasn't born. My parents weren't born.
They won one in the 90s.
This is their first time winning the North.
And they won one in 60 years.
This game could also just depends how the teams come out the gate. I like the Rams in this matchup, so I'm going to go with them. But I could see the Lions winning this too. I like the Rams.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we're ready to go into the big one.
Yeah.
Cowboys versus Packers.
All right, I'm gonna take. So Packers won 3 straight to finish 9 and 8, sneaking into the last spot.
Exactly. That's the thing, you guys. It kind of seems like a no-brainer at first, but the Packers have been hot recently, much to my chagrin. But I can't lie. They torched us, and they continue to dominate the Bears. They beat the Chiefs and the Lions back to back. They destroyed the Rams. And yes, of course, they had that terrible stretch in the beginning of the year, but they have gotten better. They've gotten more chemistry since then. So I do think that, unlike the Steelers, who I think they're a lot worse than the 7th seed, I think the Packers are a lot better than the 7th seed this year.
But
we gotta look at the Cowboys, though.
Cowboys are 12 and 5, won the NFC East. They've had a great offense. That's been their main thing. They've also have a really good defense. Their cornerback, Bland, he had the most pick sixes in a season. So this team is pretty evenly stacked on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. So really,
good O-line,
we just
great
gotta
O-line.
make sure that we don't have another Cardinals or 49ers game where, because they lost to the Arizona, gave them their first win of the season, and then got blown up by 32 points to the 49ers. So
they also lost.
Little things like that have kept me on my toes about them, but
yeah.
They have been pretty consistent, though. You're right.
Let me look at the injuries.
Let's look at the injuries for Cowboys. Yeah.
I know the Packers have a few injuries,
okay.
but
Cooper Rush is questionable, by the way, to come in, but he's like the main quarterback now, right?
Stephon Gilmore, no, still.
Or is he back up?
He's back up.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Still,
wasn't sure.
Stephon Gilmore did not participate. He might play. No big injury. DeMarcus Lawrence, well, he was full participation. Then if we go down to the Packers, Jair Alexander, I heard he also rolled his ankle. Romeo Dobbs, limited participation, chest. It's tough because he didn't look like he was like had a giant injury on the sideline, like he was on the bike, and it's been a week, so I'm hoping he'll be able to go. Elton Jenkins, I'm sure that was just half rest, and they want to practice him a bit. Musgrave will start. Reed. This team, like, I think almost all these pieces will start. Maybe Dobbs and Jair Alexander won't, and then Christian Watson, he hasn't played in a long time, so he should be ready to go. So not too many injuries. Of course, the Packers don't really have much corner depth, which would be helpful. Why would be helpful if Alexander played. But the Packers this year, as a Packers fan, they've been two sides of the ball that played very differently. Everyone thought that the defense would be carrying the team. It's been far from the truth. The offense, Jordan Love has looked really good. The whole offense, for being this young, has looked really good. Like, Jordan Love had really good stats. But the defense, they've tightened up the last 2 weeks really well. Bears only put up 9 points. They weren't resting anyone. The Bears have put up like 27 and like 30 pretty consistently over their last few games. Pressure was pretty good, but like, just don't know if you can trust Joe Barry.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give my opinion, Ryan. This will be, I think, a fun game to watch.
It will be, I think.
But I feel like the Cowboys are just a little more consistent than you guys right now.
Just depends.
Y'all have gotten, and now I can see a world where y'all win. Definitely, especially considering Cowboys have a history of being bad in the playoffs a lot of times.
And losing to the Packers in the playoffs.
And losing to the Packers
and
especially.
in general.
Yeah, in general. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but like,
and Jordan,
also we got to realize that like, apart from those blips in the early part of the season, they've been pretty consistent, and like they stayed even, which really is all they need to do to win the division as the Eagles implode on themselves.
I think this game completely depends on how the Packers defense plays. I think that the offense could put up enough points in the end, even though the Cowboys defense is really good. I think they could put up enough points to keep it competitive. It just depends if the defense shows out.
If the defense can keep
if the
it
defense
close.
if the defense can put up less than 25 points, the Packers might be able to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, this one, it's kind of crazy. I really can see going our way. I think I'm going to choose Cowboys personally.
I'm going to choose Cowboys too. I'm going to choose Cowboys too to be safe.
It's going to be a great game.
But mark it here. Would not surprised at all if the Packers win.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, we're on the divisional games.
Yeah.
I guess we should start with the AFC. We should have a look at what the Ravens have been doing.
Yeah, and we'll look at the bye teams because that's what we need to.
Yeah, very interesting situation for the Ravens here.
I think they should have most of their. Actually, it won't even show up on the injury report. It might for you. It won't on mine though because this is just the games.
Well, yeah. So early in the year, the Ravens were having a bit of a rough go again. They lost to the Steelers. And in general, we're just kind of like not able to put away games that they probably should have put away. But ever since they had that close loss to the Browns, they've just been rocketing. They beat the Bengals, the Chargers, the Rams, Jags. They beat the 49ers, which won one of the biggest games of the regular season. And then they blew out the Dolphins. Like not even a close game, you know? And then they gave the Steelers a pity win at the end, but that was just because they already locked up everything.
The Ravens' defense is...
Yeah, the defense is very, very
the
good.
The offense is really good, too. And you have them against the Browns, right?
Yeah,
I'm against the Texans, so it's...
So
I think I think I can see that our predictions for this round are probably going to be the same for one team.
Yeah, I think so. I am looking at the injuries, though, but nothing crazy. Like, Mark Andrews, unfortunately, he's returning. Actually.
Is he?
It says he's designated to return from injury reserve by the Ravens.
Oh.
But we still don't know what's going on with Zay Flowers, though. We'll have to see.
You have to think, this is going to be in 2 weeks, so I'm sure he's going to be good by then.
Exactly. This is 2 weeks away. Yeah.
So they have an extra week. So I think most of them. And then, like, the Texans, all the players should be healthy.
Now that I remember that, I think it's going to be Ravens.
I'm going to go with the Ravens,
obviously. I'm pretty confident it'll be Ravens, yeah.
I think the Texans are good, but, like, the Ravens are, like, just going to be too much. Like, there's a time where, like, even the Texans, who surprise everybody, they're still too much for them. And I think it's the Ravens. There's a bit bit too over. Like, you saw the way that they basically I could say manhandled the 49ers. They just threw them around out there. Like, nothing was working for the Niners. Purdy threw like 4 interceptions or something. So yeah, I'm going with the Ravens.
Okay. All right. This game, man.
Bills Chiefs.
I think I know. I have that idea of who's gonna win. I don't love it, but I do think that I don't know. Let me think about this a little bit.
The Bills have been really hot, but the Bills and Chiefs in the playoffs is not really a good history. The Bills have been looking for revenge like a few times, and it just hasn't come.
That's the problem. We were saying this last year, and they
lost in the
completely
divisional.
just like laid an egg. So that's what I'm really concerned with the Bills about. But the Chiefs hasn't been as good of a year as it usually.
The Bills are at home too. Keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I feel like Josh Allen has been playing kind of like Brett Favre. He'll make these passes. Some of them will get picked off. He'll get a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. He's been rushing the ball really good. Been taking it, running it a lot.
Refresh my memory on the record here. You can't go wrong with that ending. With like some of the ending ones they've had though. Like they beat the Dolphins, Chiefs, and Cowboys like in their little 5-game win streak here. Like
they played good.
Yeah. Let me look more time at what the Chiefs have done and I'm make a decision. It's tough one.
Patrick Mahomes. It's like no matter I just feel like when you have as much playoff experience, Super Bowls, AFC, he hasn't never been to a championship game. That's something that's also on the line. Has a good history with making the AFC Championship.
Yeah, well, I don't know if playoff experience is a great thing to make because the Bills have been.
The Bills have lots of
playoff
playoff experience too.
I think.
And they have the way. Even if Gabe Davis isn't playing, Stephon Diggs is better than like all the Chiefs receivers. They have Kelsey, but like.
I'm changing my mind from what I thought it was gonna be. I'm looking at like the recent kind of ending because like I said before, the Chiefs have been a little bit suspect as of late. I do think it's gonna be.
I'm going with the Bills too.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a close game. There's gonna be. I feel like there's gonna be a few turnovers.
Playoffs once again, like it was 2 years ago. This could be like the big one.
And I'm going, with the Bills.
Literally, like that game, 2 years ago, was better than the Super Bowl that year. Like,
so I think the Bills finally get revenge in the playoffs and knock the Chiefs out.
Let's hope.
I'm rooting for the Bills.
We gotta hope. We really
besides,
hope for them because they've had so much.
Besides the Packers, I'd rather see the Bills win the Super Bowl most.
Okay, all right. NFC time. Not even a contest. I'm just gonna vote right now. 49ers.
Mine is versus the Rams.
Okay, yours is going to be a bit tougher actually because the Rams are a much better team than the 49ers are.
They're in the division, the same division, and Sean McVay is a genius coach, so he'll draw something up that'll exploit all the 49ers' weaknesses, I think. But the 49ers are such a resilient team. They've been through a lot. They've been knocked around at one point. They've taken some big losses versus some teams. I just think the 49ers this year and for a while are just going to be good. Like, just flat out good. Get it done.
I voted for you guys, but I will show you my 49ers.
I'm going 49ers
I'll show you
too.
the dominance they've also had as of late.
Now,
Again, a team that had a bit of a hard time like earlier in the year, like they had a 3-game losing streak here. They've just like been really good, honestly. I don't
want to make any spoilers, but whoever I were to pick, 49ers or Rams, I pick the 49ers to win this game. I think that the winner of this goes to the Super Bowl. So that kind of spoils my NFC champion.
Okay.
But I'm just going to be honest. I don't trust the Cowboys or Buccaneers enough to beat a team like the Rams because like Matthew Stafford is really experienced, been to the Super Bowl. A lot of pieces. Sean McVay, experienced, been to 2 Super Bowls. I just don't trust the Cowboys or Bucs a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm going with the 49ers in that one though. So yeah, spoiler.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good, right?
Yeah, I just want to see what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Hi, camera.
Yeah, hey, Ryan's here.
I'm here.
Okay. Then we got the Cowboys versus Lions. What's yours?
Cowboys Bucks.
Cowboys Bucks.
So you do yours first because yours is yours is.
Yeah, you got an easy one.
Yeah.
All right. Man. Oh my God.
I'm gonna stand over here.
This is nuts, bro. Actually.
The Cowboys and Lions played in the season.
They're both such good teams.
You remember
right
the
now.
controversial? The Cowboys won the game controversial. It was that very controversial call where they said that the lineman didn't say he was in the game to the ref, but you could very clearly see him.
Oh yeah, they did just play.
And it was Did you hear about the ending? How
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So it's a rematch.
Okay.
The Lions are definitely looking for
Premature,
revenge.
but I think I have my prediction then.
You think the Lions?
I just think so, right?
Yeah.
I
wouldn't be surprised.
After that shit, no way they don't win this game. I'm sorry. They're gonna make sure it doesn't happen. They're gonna be especially with their coach too. That coach, bro.
Dan
he will
Campbell. Make
sure that they
former
with
player
a game
brings.
Like that. I didn't even realize that was a rematch from 2 weeks ago. From that controversial. I didn't even cross my mind for a while. Okay.
And anyways, I'm just going back here.
Okay, yeah.
I don't trust the Buccaneers.
Yeah, you got easiest choice in your life. Yeah.
I would have rathered. So many teams deserved it more. You could argue Saints deserved it more. They won 42-7 versus the. Not 7.
I would have preferred to have the Saints in too. Actually, they're
really
just more exciting.
But
I think the Buccaneers were just a little more solid.
So the Cowboys finally make it back to the NFC Championship. Took 30 years, but they make it back.
Great. All right, so yeah.
AFC. We have the same matchup, right?
So wait, just for a recap. So I'm at Ravens Bills for the AFC Championship, and I'm at 49ers Lions for the NFC Championship.
I'm at AFC Championship is Ravens Bills, and NFC is 49ers Cowboys.
Okay, so a little bit different, but the AFC is the same match.
3 of the 4 same teams.
I'm gonna look one more time at something, and then I think I'll be able to make my prediction here. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So standings, we're gonna go Ravens here. Just want to see how they've been doing here compared to the second seed. See, I think both. Royal plays.
Yeah, look at this game.
Both these teams, honestly, have been pretty hot going into the postseason. That's
Very.
the thing.
Ravens lost one, but that's because they were saying their starters. And Pittsburgh had stuff to play for, so they went hard in the rain. And
I don't count that.
Ravens, if they started their starters, they would have been 14-3. So just keep that in mind.
We do have to remember that the bye exists, though.
Yeah.
And so, let me look here. Great wins here at the end. For both teams.
Big wins versus good teams, too.
I do think, unfortunately, right, I do think that, the Bills are going to be playing on fumes at this point. You know what I mean? It's they're going to have to play really hard to get, past the Chiefs the week before, and they won't have had the rest that the Ravens had against, not a crazy team in the Browns either. I do think that the Ravens are just going to be more disciplined going in because they'll have had more time to think about it,
So, here's what I
honestly,
think.
compared to, the Browns aren't a bad team by any means, but the Browns are kind of almost a tune-up compared to...
Sorry.
Okay.
Oops.
The Browns aren't a bad team by any means, but compared to, this game, I do think the Browns game is kind of almost a tune-up for the Ravens at this point, considering how, dominant they've been against, their, excluding the first part of the year, of course, they've been pretty dominant against their own conference, or their own division, so... I think fatigue and because of that probably just being better discipline than the Bills will be. I do think I'm going to have to give it to the Ravens in this one.
So,
you talk.
Here's my thing. The Bills have been in this situation many times before, and they've always just came up a little bit short. The Chiefs have always just kind of edged them through. I think that was all their AFC Championship matchups was versus the Chiefs. And then they played in the divisional, I think, once. So the Bills have been in this situation before, and this team has played really good recently, but the Ravens have just... Their specialty has been dismantling the good teams. That's been their specialty.
Don't forget, right, I think we have to remember 2019.
Yeah.
About how that was supposed to be the year, and then they lost early. So they
Ravens?
are...
Yeah.
Yeah, so they also...
Ravens are not good in the playoffs.
I know the Bills are a bigger story these days, But the Ravens also are trying to avenge that year as well,
Like,
too.
yeah.
Right? Let's not forget that.
I think if-
both teams are like trying to avenge something.
if the
I guess.
Browns beat the Texans, I think there's a real chance the Browns could upset the Ravens. Like, that's just what I think. I picked the
Okay.
Texans, but this is what we're left with. The Ravens, great defense. Bills, defense good. Josh Allen playing really good. So you went with the Ravens?
Yeah, I went with the Ravens.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know,
All good.
I want both teams to win. Like I'm rooting for both teams in this situation.
I'm kind of rooting for the Bills more myself. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. Like that's.
I just like that it's not the Chiefs in the Super Bowl for once.
Chiefs have just not been as
Chiefs,
white hot
yeah.
the past couple weeks as either the Ravens or the Bills have. Like they're just verbatim. That's why I didn't put them in. You know, just
All
not as consistent.
I think I have a decision. It's gonna be a close game.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's gonna be high scoring because both defenses are good.
Yeah.
It might be medium, like a 23-20 game. I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Okay.
I think that they have more to
I'm
fight
hoping
for.
you're right, actually, Ryan. I am hoping you're right. With my biased opinion now, guys, I am hoping that Ryan's right on this.
But the Ravens have been the better team from what we've seen. There's so many factors. Like, I'm going off the fact that the Ravens haven't been that great in the playoffs. They've only won like 1 or 2 games, and really quite
like
a bit.
recently,
Yeah. But that's just like this team is pretty different from that last iteration to that loss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
plenty.
So I'm going with the Bills, but this is a toss-up too. Okay, now what's your NFC
All right,
Championship?
so we do have different ones. Mine is 49ers Lions. Yours is what?
49ers Cowboys.
Okay. So yeah, you talk for a while. I'll talk now. Let me just see something here. I got the 2 tabs open. We're just gonna check the stretch that they've had here. Both these teams. I kind of already have my opinion. I've been thinking about it while you've been talking, but I'm just gonna look one more time here.
What do you think?
All right. You know what? Yeah. I think 49ers. Yeah.
Lions are good.
I had to look at it. Lions are good.
They're just kind of.
And honestly, Ryan, I'm gonna be honest. Looking
Yeah.
at that too, both those teams. I think I also know what I'm gonna do for the Super Bowl as well. Just by that, so I won't say anything about what I saw, but I have an idea. But both the NFC Championship, I do think that the 49ers. They've been here before as well. Let's not forget that. And the Lions, the Lions haven't been back here in a while.
Long time.
It's not like the Bills or the Ravens where they're trying to adventure something. The Lions, this is their first time, So great what they've been able to do, but I think it's going to end here.
So then 49ers Cowboys for me.
Yeah.
Might seem like a close matchup, like if you just look at their standings itself. But when you get in depth, I think it's not even close. 49ers have way more. I don't know if they have more skill players, but I like how their team. I just like how their team is ran. I think it's ran better. The Cowboys are on the road, and I think you might have heard, Robertson, that they've been terrible on the road against especially good teams.
Yeah.
They need to be at home. They're undefeated at home, and they're like 2-5 on the road or something like that.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. They're gonna be their first away game in the playoffs. Another reason why it changed so much with the Eagles imploding, right? Like another reason why a lot of things.
And I feel like the NFL has even if one team could be way better, I feel like somehow it always makes sure it ends the same. Cowboys haven't made the Super Bowl in a long time. This is their first championship game back, and I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. I just don't see it happening. So give me the 49ers.
So we both got the same matchup?
49ers Bills. Oh, no,
you're 49ers Bills. I'm 49ers Ravens.
Yeah.
I see. And it's going to be at Nevada, of course. Yeah, Paradise, Nevada. Okay, well, I know. I've thought about it. I know.
Okay, you pick first.
Okay, I'm going to pick, and then you click yours, okay?
Alright, let me think for a sec.
Okay.
I already saw yours.
I was trying to hide it. Yeah, no, I picked mine.
Oh, this is tough.
I won't look at your screen. Don't worry. the viewing angle isn't that great on my laptop, so I won't be able to see it anyways, even though I did look.
The 49ers are the better team on paper, but the Bills are just, like, they can be nutty at times. Like, they can just pull stuff off. And I feel like so many people have said the Bills, like, have thought the Bills are going to go to the Super Bowl, and they just disappointed. I feel like how they did in the regular season and how they ended it, that's just kind of going to be the story of the year. But the 49ers are the better team. All right, I think I've
Sorry, not the rush.
decided. All right, let me know when you're ready. Give me a
I'm
countdown.
ready. I already picked.
All right, I'm gonna circle around it a bit, get some suspense. Oh, I accidentally grabbed it. I'm going with the 49ers.
Okay. Okay, can I?
I feel like it's. I have to say this quick. I just think it's really Bills-like to make it to the Super Bowl and lose. I just feel like that's something the Bills would do.
Yeah, just you can't shake the old tradition, you know.
Nope.
Anyway, about mine. Looking at those records of the 49ers and Lions, I'm realizing the AFC's just been more consistent as of late, just in general as a conference. Like, I noticed that. I'm like, wow, it's like a world of difference. Seeing that, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be the Ravens. And I feel like the AFC's been the better conference this year, but the AFC, and not like the NFC's much worse than them, but especially with how that other matchup went with the Ravens versus 49ers, I know people like to teams have more motivation going into a rematch. I get that, but I still think like with just in general how, especially like how quietly almost the Ravens have been like just working getting this going.
They've been quietly dominant.
It took me a while to actually like catch up with how dominant that they were because
I thought they were going to be like an 11-6.
I was too busy with the ones that were like being all. I was too busy looking at the ones that like were actually self-destructing, especially with that sort of bad beginning of the year. I'm like I kind of counted them out early, but yeah, they've just been hard to stop the team. So I think it's going to be them. Which, by the way, this Super Bowl is actually a rematch of
10 years ago exactly.
10 years ago exactly.
I think it is.
Or no, actually, I think 10 years ago
It's
was Broncos Seahawks. The one before that one.
Yeah,
was,
I think you're
so
right.
11 years ago was Ravens versus 49ers, and the Ravens also won that one. It was the Blackout Bowl, I think it was, right? The one where they had the lights out. All right.
So let me just, I think say a really quick thing.
Yeah, you say something.
I'll just say it quick because there's not too much to explain. Went over some of it. 49ers, besides Brock Purdy, have the experience. So do the Bills, but like the 49ers are such a deep team. This is like Trent Williams, their left tackle. In his whole career, he's let up one sack. He's 37. Like he's old. I'm not sure he's 37. He's old. So in like 15 years, he's let up one sack. I think the O-line is superior. I think the tight end superior. Receivers, pretty close. Running back, wait, not even close. Like James Cook is good for the Bills. Christian McCaffrey should win MVP. I don't think he's gonna, but he should. He deserves it. Defense, Nick Bosa, dominant. I just think that this is the 49ers' year. If it's ever going to be their year, it's going to be this year.
Yeah. That's...
All right, so that was our...
Yeah, that was our predictions. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm much more happier than
look at the bracket.
Than doing it before here. Yeah, how do we look at like the... Like, we can submit the bracket now? What do we do?
Well, we didn't log in. So
okay, so we can't submit it.
Well, you have to, if you want to make an ESPN account.
No, I'm good.
I already did my bracket. I just did it somewhere else. I had all these matchups decided in my head, basically.
Okay. Well, yeah, no.
Like somewhere.
Going
on and on.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this predictions. Yeah, we'll see you again soon, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, subscribe.
Yes.
See ya.